Hey guys, and welcome to a new episode of Take Jobs, where we job the take or something. I don't know, I am new to this. Sorry, I didn't release this video sooner. I was supposed to release it in the first half of February, but it got pushed back because of two reasons. First of all, truth be told, there were no new launches and it felt like the tech space was too dried out to make a whole video. And the second reason, I had some real life stuff involved, so I really couldn't focus on making a video. But don't fret, I will be making a new video on February 6th, so 2 weeks from now. And these 2 weeks will certainly be more jam packed because some new launches are happening. Samsung Unpacked, then Nothing's new event is happening, and Apple event, of course. So, three banger events will be happening between these 2 weeks, and it will be a much easier job for me. But, anyways, as it turns out, delaying this video was a bit beneficial for me and for you guys because a lot of stuff has happened. The best of them being AI Tech Summit of India. Like the largest AI Tech Summit has just concluded and a lot of stuff has happened, both good and bad. We will focus on both of them and a lot of other stuff such as OpenAI apparently going down under, like they might be going bankrupt by 2027, and other some miscellaneous launches and some crazy stuff from Microsoft. Wait, let's stop yapping and let's start yapping. I don't know what that transition was, but let's start with AI Tech Summit. So, yeah, this was the biggest event of this last 3-4 weeks, whatever you want to count. And truth be told, it was a banger. I feel like social media, especially like Twitter and stuff, always focuses on the negative stuff more than the positive stuffs. Like, yeah, the whole stuff with Calgary University is a bad light for us, and they shouldn't have done what they did, like bringing a Chinese bot robot to showcase as their own. It's a bit disingenuous, sure, but on the other hand, we have our first LLM model made in India, Subham AI, and I will certainly be talking more about Subham AI than Galgotin University because there is nothing to talk about Galgotin University. It's simply just a mishap conducted by them. Like it was disingenuous and bad in their part, and they shouldn't have done that. As simple as that. I will not talk about that anymore. But what will I talk about is Subham AI because they have literally cooked. First of all, it's the first homegrown AI in India, and they have launched two models, Servam 30 billion model, I believe, and 120 billion. If I'm wrong, I will correct it here, right here, with correct information because I can't remember. Also, I haven't incorporated this in the script at all. But what I have seen from the initial demos they have conducted with the media, the model seems to perform really well. In some cases, on par with models like GPT OSS, I guess, in case of 30 billion models. And for the higher end model, it even like competes with the likes of DeepSeek, GLM, and even Claude OpenAI. So, in one jump, we went to the big leagues. And shout out to the guys at Servam. They even launched a new app in this, and currently I am in wait list. But as soon as I get any new information about them, I'll be sure to share with you guys in a short. And other stuff they have launched a text to speech model, which supports all of the languages in India. I was seeing a demo in their press conference they were showing, and someone was speaking fluent Marathi really fast, and AI was capturing every single word and writing it down very clearly. So that was a really impressive demo. Sure, some people might argue that we already have a text to speech model. Why do we need another one? Difference here is this is completely localized. That means you don't need an internet connection to run this. What happens with other text to speech models? We see that they have to send your voice data to the cloud, then process it, and then send it back to the phones to be translated, etc. And in case of Google, they have some translation system built in, localized, yeah. But they are a bit slowish in my experience, and they only support a very limited language, including Hindi. But like, if I suppose I want to speak Bangla, but I cannot simply because it's here and there. They have the support, but it's here and there because they have to support the whole world. So it's a bigger task for them. In case of Servam, it's just India. So they don't have to put that much resources. Sure, India has a lot of language, but mm, it's a much smaller scope. So they can get text to speech much better for Indian users. And yes, it supports English as well. Also, I forgot, because Servam AI was developed in India, the AI has a much better understanding of Indian culture, what goes in India and stuff, as compared to the likes of Gemini, OpenAI, and stuff. Because for the foreign models, as that they have to account for everything. And as I understand, their training data mostly contain Western stuff. So most of the Western culture gets involved. So a lot of stuff which we Indians specifically require, let's just say like uh, some farmer needs to know something about some crops which is specifically grown in India. They might not get the best answer from Gemini and such. But from Servam, they might have a better chance because Servam was trained top to bottom, understanding the Indian language and the Indian culture. So I feel like it will be much more useful for us. So that is all the important stuff in Indian Tech Summit. Moving on to the second news, apparently OpenAI might be going bankrupt by 2027. Yes, you heard that right. And the situation looks very bad for them. Sure, they have launched a lot of new models in these few weeks, but their launch for GPT-5 didn't went as they hoped for. And Gemini 3.0 is apparently catching up in market share. The Anthropics, of course, everyone is giving competition. This scene has competition, so that's not that big of a deal. What is a big of a deal though, that OpenAI is yet to make a profit. So if you guys don't understand that how this AI market works, of course OpenAI used to work on a non-profit basis. So they would launch the model and host them on their own servers and such, and they would simply eat the cost. But after that, they have changed and introduced subscription and such, a lot of subscription, some pro, ultra, whatever subscription, such. But the problem with those subscription is that they are often subsidized. What do I mean? Let's say I am paying $200 per month for OpenAI subscription, and I want to use GPT 5.3 Codex, the model they recently launched. If we go by the API prices, they are high, and often what happens in 1 month, a pro user consumes $2,000, which is a lot that they don't have to pay OpenAI to, because they already paid $200 per month. So literally OpenAI is eating 10x the cost. That's number one point. And number two, OpenAI is running at a loss right now. Until the tech improves and the inference cost gets cheaper, they will be eating cost. And from what we see right now in the AI trajectory, whole the AI bubble is going on, we necessarily are not seeing that the AI inference is getting cheaper. Maybe with some smaller models, sure, but people aren't using them first of all, and if they're using them, it is for very specific small kind of tasks. People typically reach for more powerful models, and that's how cost keeps accumulating. A current subscription is not offsetting the cost that is causing. And just because of this, a lot of market analysts has said that might go bankrupt in 2027. Yes, they didn't say it, but a lot of market analysts are predicting it. And people are starting to realize that it has become kind of a bubble. Nvidia is investing $8 billion to OpenAI. OpenAI is giving $8 billion to Oracle for their servers and such, and Oracle is giving Nvidia for investing stuff as well. So it kind of becomes a triangle, and we have kind of already seen what happens to them in the 90s .com bubble. The similar stuff was happening with, I believe, AOL and other companies, that it was kind of a triangle, a pyramid scheme, if you will. I guess it's not technically a pyramid scheme, but still, it eventually popped. And we are kind of seeing the same pattern emerge with these three companies. It's really a matter of when, if not if. And GPT 5.3 codex model is good. The whole codex thing they are doing is genuinely exciting for me. Like, it feels really good seeing them like support developers and such. I want OpenAI to be around, but I want the bubble to pop. Yes, I want the bubble to pop because this bubble has become a bit too toxic in my opinion, and there is certainly a better way to do this without burning the world and making the RAM prices cost two kidneys. And by the way, as a last resort, they are putting ads in Chat GPT, which is indeed the last resort because Sam Altman said if OpenAI is losing too much money, that it will be their last resort. I know a lot of people hold grudges against OpenAI for like taking all the RAM and polluting the world and releasing models, generative AI models and such. By the way, my AI opinion, I like LLM. I don't like generative AI models. I feel like there is a better way to introduce AI for creative fields. Introduce AI as a tool, not a replacement. Just like what we are doing with LLMs, integrating them into dev platforms like Codex and such. So, kind of like vibe coding, but you still have the control. You still see the code. With generative AI, you are generating image. So, the creators, the artists, they don't have any control over the image there that is being generated. I feel like what will be the best option for generative AI to work is to being used as a tool, like the tools that already exist in these models, like Nano Banana Pro, removing background in video. That would be really helpful, or perhaps converting PNG to SVG, basically placing all the dots, which is tedious, not hard, but tedious task. Delegate tedious tasks to AI. I feel like that's the best way to use AI. And as much as possible, give AI to users on their local machines as much as possible. If you need to plug it into the cloud, sure. So that's my opinion. Hope OpenAI stays around, and if they gone, RIP, I guess. But I guess we have to see the future that is waiting for OpenAI. Miscellaneous launches. By the way, before moving to the last topic, we will talk about some miscellaneous launches that has happened between these few weeks. Samsung has launched their Galaxy Trifold in the US for a whopping $2,899. And of course, we have talked about that phone a lot in the previous Take Job episode. CES stuff, but it might be interesting to you anyway. Also, they have showcased a brand new privacy screen protector system built into the display, which can redact out partial part of the screen, so like notification and such. It works by dispersing the light like this instead of this. uh, I don't know the technical term, don't ask me. I just saw the diagram and tried to explain to you. uh, but the leaker Ice Universe has showcased this in a S26. I guess I won't show it because I don't want to get in trouble with Samsung. uh, I love my kidneys, and that tech is genuinely interesting to me. Something new. I like it. They're still innovating. That is definitely commendable. Apple has launched AirTag 2, and it is similar to the first generation AirTag, just with better speakers and better chip, better ultra wideband chip. So you can find it from further away. If it is in the floor, you can still track it. Yeah, the changes they have made are definitely welcome ones. And these were the launches. I know that Subham AI technically launched and all this stuff, but I have already covered them. So we will be moving on to the last topic. Microsoft is seemingly falling apart with Windows. Yeah, you heard that right. In the current build Windows 25 H2, it has been a bit unstable for me. Why? Just look at their updates they have launched in January. The January security patch they do usually with patch Tuesday had a lot of bugs. SSD were being corrupted, including mine. I thankfully recovered everything. Thank Bhagwan. Anyway, Windows being stuck in a boot loop, the BitLocker encryption being logged down, and a lot of stuff was happening. It was going crazy. Windows was literally falling apart before our eyes. And I feel like that was because Microsoft was heavily incorporating AI into their operating system. Not that they're shipping AI, but they were using AI to develop them, kind of like vibe coding. Now I'm sure that they have great engineers over there, but I feel like they kind of rushed it this time around because they wanted to push more AI down our throat. This is a criticism because I don't want Copilot that much in my PC. Sure, if I want to use Copilot, I will simply use the app by installing it from Microsoft Store. I don't want Copilot in my notepad. I don't want Copilot in Paint. I don't want Copilot anywhere else. I want it to be a separate app, and I certainly don't want Copilot to access my whole PC. And apparently that they were planning that as well. They have kind of walked back on that thing, but hope that they learn from their mistakes and pull back in implementing AI that much. And it seems promising because in the internal meeting that leaked, apparently the top executives of Microsoft were talking about reducing AI in various stuff like Notepad and Paint and such. And they were even reconsidering recall. They were re-evaluating the features it offers. It definitely gives us some hope, but I'm a bit scared. Right? A lot of people nowadays has bad taste of Windows, and they are mostly switching to Linux right now. Uh, and at some point, I was so frustrated with Microsoft that I wanted to switch to Linux. So that goes to show that how much they have mishandled Windows with the recent updates. Like every day I used to hear some new stuff that was going on with Windows, like this news from PUBG. The latest Windows 11 update is so bad that Nvidia is telling us to revert back to the older build. The recent update actually caused constant frame drops and lags that I actually experienced in GTA Online while I was playing. Yeah, I still play GTA Online. I am a noob anyway. And of course, the other stuff that I already mentioned with boot drive failures and such. I hope Microsoft take it seriously this time. And their spokesperson even said that they will definitely focus on optimizing and increasing the performance of Windows 11 this year, and they will release no feature. And I want that. I want them to pull a Snow Leopard. If you don't know, macOS Snow Leopard was the most optimized and one of the best well regarded operating system Apple has ever made. How did they do so? They sat down, they worked on fixing every single problem that user had with the previous macOS update and made it simply better. They didn't introduce any new feature with Snow Leopard. and just focused on optimizing it. And that's why Snow Leopard was so well regarded. I feel like that Microsoft should do a similar thing. And if I were to believe what I'm hearing from them, it is about to be true, I guess. But I guess we have to wait and see, because I have been burned by Microsoft before. We as a consumer has lost that trust, and that trust will be hard to build. Let's see how it goes, how they built Windows 11 in 2026, hopefully for the better. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. That was the second episode of Tech Chop. If you didn't notice already, I have slightly changed the background a bit. I was a bit lazy. I couldn't go into my studio and such. But how do you like this? If you want me to improve something about Tech Chop, you surely write it down in the comments. Let me know what should I improve in the next episode. And anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you like these videos, be sure to like, share and subscribe. Bye bye.